Good morning, friends. You ready to sing? The sun is shining. Good morning, and we're all smiling. Good morning to everyone. Hooray, hooray. Have a good day. How about we do Twinkle Twinkle before we get into our story? Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. All right. So, what I wanted to do today, we're going to read this story. And this is something we've done before. We're going to be listening for a letter. Okay? And let's look at the title of this. It says, if you give a moose a muffin. We are going to be listening for the letter M. Can you hear that? M. 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 We are going to be listening for this letter. M. Okay? Let's see how many times we can find it in the story and how many different words have the M sound in them. Let's see. Take the cover off. It's easier to hold. If you give a moose a muffin, moose, muffin, right? So 2 M sounds. He'll want some jam to go with it. Jam also has an M, but it's way at the end of the word. So you'll bring out some of your mother's homemade blackberry jam. Do you hear it there? Mother. There's an M in mother. When he's finished eating the muffin, he'll want another, and another, and another. When they're all gone, he'll ask you to make more. Make more. You'll have to go to the store to get some muffin mix. He'll want to go with you. When he opens the door and feels how chilly it is, he'll ask to borrow a sweater. When he puts the sweater on, he'll notice one of the buttons is loose. He'll ask for a needle and thread. He'll start sewing. The button will remind him of the puppets his grandmother used to make. Grandmother has an M. Make has an M. So he'll ask for some old socks. He'll make sock puppets. When they're done, he'll want to put on a puppet show. He'll need some cardboard and paints. Then he'll ask you to help make the scenery. When the scenery is finished, he'll get behind the couch, but his antlers will stick out. So he'll ask for something to cover them up. You'll bring him a sheet from your bed. When he sees the sheet, he'll remember he wants to be a ghost for Halloween. He'll try it on and shout, "Boo!" It'll scare him so much, he'll knock over the paints. So he'll use the sheet to clean up the mess. Then he'll ask for some soap to wash it out. He'll probably want to hang the sheet up to dry. He'll go outside to put it on the clothesline. When he's out in the yard, he'll see your mother's blackberry bushes. Seeing the blackberries will remind him of her jam. He'll probably ask you for some. And chances are, if you give him the jam, he'll want a muffin to go with it. Muffin. So what are some of the words we heard that had an M in them? We heard moose. We heard muffin. We heard jam. Has the sound at the end of the word. We heard mother. Grandmother. Right? What else? The word remind has an M in it right in the middle. R-E-M-I-N-D. Remind. Mind. Right? So let's see today if you can spot any M's in the stories that you read at home. Can you hear any M's when a story is read out loud to you? Can you find any by the way that they look? See if you can. We are going to read, let's see, the first chapter of the Magic Tree House. This is number 10, Ghost Town at Sundown. Chapter 1, How Wild. Picture. Jack and Annie were sitting on the porch of their house. Annie was gazing down the street at the Frog Creek woods. Jack was reading a book. I have a feeling we should check the woods again, said Annie. Why? Said Jack without looking up. A rabbit's hopping by, said Annie. So, we've seen rabbits before. Not like this one, said Annie. What do you mean? Jack stood up and looked with her. He saw a rabbit with very long legs hopping down their street. Soon the rabbit left the sidewalk and headed into the woods. He's a sign, said Annie. A sign of what? Said Jack. That Morgan's back, said Annie. She jumped off the porch. Come on. But what about dinner? Jack said. Dad said it would be ready soon. Don't worry, said Annie. You know when we leave the treehouse, time stops. She ran across the yard. Jack pulled on his backpack. Back in 10 minutes, he called through the screen door. Then he followed Annie. They hurried down their street and into the Frog Creek woods. The sun was setting above the trees. There he is, said Annie. The rabbit was standing in a ray of sunlight. When he saw them, he took off. Jack and Annie followed the rabbit until he vanished behind the tallest tree. I told you, see, said Annie, panting. She pointed up at the tree. Morgan Le Fay was waving to them from the magic treehouse high in the branches. Jack and Annie waved back to her. As always, Jack was very happy to see the enchantress librarian again. Come on up, she called. Annie and Jack started up the rope ladder. They climbed up to the treehouse. We followed a strange rabbit here, said Annie. Is he your friend? Perhaps, said Morgan. She smiled mysteriously. I have many odd friends. Including us, said Annie. Morgan laughed. That's right. How are you, said Jack. I'm still having problems with Merlin, said the enchantress, which leaves me a little time to do my real work. But soon you both will become master librarians, and that will be a big help to me. Jack smiled. He was going to be a master librarian who traveled through time and space. It was almost too good to believe. Are you ready to solve another riddle? Asked Morgan. Yes, said Jack and Annie together. Good, said Morgan. First, you'll need this for research. She pulled a book from her robe and handed it to Jack. It was the book that would help them on their journey. The title of the book was Days of the Wild West. On the cover was a picture of a western town on a prairie. Oh, wow, said Annie. The Wild West. Jack took a deep breath. Just how wild, he wondered. Morgan reached into the folds of her robe again and pulled out a scroll. She handed it to Annie. Read this when the treehouse lands, she said. Is it the riddle? Asked Jack. Yes, said Morgan. Then you'll only have 2 more to solve. Are you ready to go? Jack and Annie nodded. Annie pointed to the picture on the cover of the Wild West book. I wish we could go there, she said. The wind started to blow. Goodbye, said Morgan. Good luck. The treehouse started to spin. Jack squeezed his eyes shut. The treehouse spun faster and faster. Then everything was still. Absolutely still. Jack opened his eyes. Morgan Le Fay was gone. A fly buzzed around his head. All right, we will pick back up with that next time.